Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to those two. He's Alex. I'm Joe. It's Sunday. We're both exhausted, but we're here for you and ourselves. And, the show must go on. I was at a small comic book convention yesterday. Alex was running, and it just time gets away. So we're deciding to record today. And,
I mean, we're still about a week out from when this is coming out, so we realistically could have done it during the week, but we just didn't.
I feel
well, we also know what it's like when we're trying to get stuff done during the week. We can be very it can be busy and stuff. So,
exactly.
I don't even know what we were going. Oh, the Flash trailer. I literally just watched. Okay, so to give you an idea as to how my brains work, for the last week I've been studying for an exam, which I actually passed, thankfully.
Congrats!
But thank you. But because I've been doing that, my brain has really not been doing much of anything. So yesterday, like Friday, I ran.
Yep.
I did a fast for me 5K run. And then it didn't occur to me that I should have a rest day, so I ran again yesterday, which is Saturday, and my legs hurt. My almost everything from about the waist down hurts, and it is what it is. It's self-inflicted. I'm fine with it. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh right, so I did a lot of it on a lack of sleep, and then my cats decided it would be a fantastic idea to wake me up early when I was intending to have a lay-in, because apparently they need to be fed at a certain time of day.
Yep. My dog's the same way. I let him out at 2:30 last night in the morning.
Yeah.
And now he's sleeping and snoring. He's in the
Give
corner.
me 2 seconds, because something just crashed downstairs, and I've got 3 cats running around. I'll be right back. All right, I'll just cut that sound out. Walter had knocked his food dishes off, so.
I was going to say off to a fantastic start.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
You were at a convention.
I was at a convention. I went with my cousin. We did a very small comic book convention up in Connecticut.
Okay.
And, he made an appearance, so I helped him. Family is cheap help, so I helped him. And,
well, you also get in, right? Does he get 2 passes here?
Yeah. So I got in, and then during the show, I was just like, all right, I got to go poke around. And I did that quite a bit. They had a lot of bins, a lot of short boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And some people had reasonably priced stuff, and other people had out of the stratosphere stuff, like priced. There were no graded books. And somehow things still got, like, expensive. Like, one of the things, there was one guy who, he had great stuff. Hulk 180 and things like that.
Yeah.
They were in, like, a 3.5 condition.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was insane prices on everything. Like, hundreds of dollars way higher. And it was just like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just like, if it's too high and you don't want to spend the money on it, then there's nothing that will convince you to spend the money on it.
No, exactly. And I was like, nah. No toys. So that was disappointing. But saved me money in that day. So I was like, all right.
Isn't necessarily disappointing.
No, I mean, when you go to a convention, there's always that dopamine and adrenaline of getting like an action figure or something like that you really want.
Oh yeah.
But the comic book took over that too. Like, I got Fantastic Four number 60. And it's always hard to find Fantastic Four in double digits.
Oh, it is. I
loved it.
You said that you have number 60. I was like, what one? I've got an early one as well. I don't know which one it is.
I think yours is earlier than me.
No, I have 60 as well.
Yeah, with Thing and Doom on the cover punching each other?
Yep.
I love that cover.
It's a great cover. So I actually have a UK one.
Oh, nice.
It's not in great condition, but I didn't get it to be in great condition.
Mm-hmm.
I got it because it has like a 10D on it instead of whatever it was.
Whatever the
whatever the actual price of it is.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, so I got that, and then have I'm just looking at the ones that I have. Like I've got a thing in Submariner and 12 pence and stuff. Like I've just got a strangely weird collect group of comics that aren't in the long box but are on my bookshelf upstairs. I never remember why I have them up here.
That's
Like
hilarious because they
I
had
need
the Submariner and Thing cover right next to it.
that is funny.
It's a good cover. I almost bought
It
that.
is. It is. It's a nice cover. Like I think some of those might be books that Jeff would like. There's one of them in there that's the first Captain Britain, but it has like a couple of pages missing. Like just add
Mhm.
pages, but just pages. And Jeff said like, I can't sell this. Do you want it? Because he thought it was worth more than it was. And I was like, yeah, what do you want for it? He's like, if you don't take it, I'm throwing it out. I'm like, well, I'll take it then.
Yeah, of course.
So,
So yeah, that was the comic convention. It was a very slow day. It was in a very rural part of Connecticut.
which convention was it? I'm curious. I'm going to look it up out of curiosity.
Oh, it's called Quiet Corner Sci-Fi Comic-Con and Collectibles. Oh, Quiet Corner Sci-Fi Comic-Con Experience or something like that. It's Quiet Corner in Connecticut. Just look
Right,
that
so
up.
if I search Quiet Corner comic,
Yeah, Quiet
sci-fi and
Corner
comic, yeah, okay,
Sci-Fi.
got it.
Yeah, there you go. Good people, great people.
Mm.
Just the turnout wasn't that fantastic.
Sometimes I like the single day. Oh yeah, I see your cousin on the front page.
Nope. Stevie Oaks.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, no, but sometimes those conventions like the single dayers or the smaller ones can have some great buys in it, great finds in it.
Yeah.
Some great guests, even if it's not like say if maybe you're not into Family Guy or like just seeing the Adam West Batmobile isn't your jam.
Yeah.
Like there's always going to be something there that you'll find that you'll enjoy, and the price to get in is usually not as bad as you would think, right?
Very low. It's $10.
Yeah, exactly. That's really reasonable.
Yeah, but I gotta stop you there. The Batmobile never made it.
Oh,
That was one of the crazy things. The Batmobile got rear-ended like a few miles from the Comic-Con.
way.
Yeah.
Oh no way! That is awful news. Like,
Yeah.
and this isn't an over exaggeration of my reaction. That is genuinely heartbreaking.
Yeah. The guy got rear-ended and he ended up pulling in later. Even I didn't see him. The owner told us. And he was pissed. He just was like, yeah, I'm going home. I'm not gonna do the convention because one, the guy got rear-ended and he got rear-ended by a guy who was trying to take pictures of the Batmobile.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I can imagine that. That must have been unbelievably aggravating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was how the show started off. We're like, oh, that omen. So there was a lot of Trekkie fans there. It was mostly sci-fi. So
Yeah,
lots
I
of
would say
stuff.
it's like when the one I went to, there's a lot of video game and anime.
Yep.
Not strictly my thing, but it does fill a niche in the area that we don't have. Like there's a couple of more strictly comic conventions in New Brunswick and Halifax has a couple as well, which tend to be more comic focused. Whereas the one here it kind of fills the other niche because unfortunately the area isn't large enough to host multiple conventions of the same kind. So you do need to have like a different flavor of each one.
Right.
But yeah, like a single day convention with sci-fi and comics, you can't really go wrong.
No, you can't. And some of the wall books were good. Like they weren't graded, but they were good. Like a guy had the original Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, nice. Those are hard to find.
Yeah, number 5 and number 1.
I don't know which ones I have. I actually need to make a list of what I have, but there's stuff in front of my comic shelves in the basement that I can't. We've got like ties in front of it because I haven't gone into those boxes in a while. So
right. So they had that, and then the first appearance of Polaris was $50, and I almost bought that X-Men 50, but it had writing on the logo. Like
do you know
somebody
what?
back, I was pissed.
Most books from that era have some kind of writing on the logo.
I know.
Or somewhere, because it's like a lot of them would have my words are failing. A lot of them would have like the date stamped on the book on the cover, or they do marker on the top so they'd know what date to pull the books off of.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just annoying though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not.
No, it's like the same people who put like Mickey Mantle rookie baseball cards in their tire spokes when they were riding around as a kid.
Yep.
Like I never understood why people put baseball cards in bicycle tires.
It was to make the clicky sound as you drove around, or drove/rode around.
Oh, so stupid.
I don't disagree with you. Like it was, I remember people doing it as a kid, but we used cigarette football cards.
Yeah,
It was
just a different style, different time, different culture. But yeah, so there's a lot of good wall books and things like that, and I just kind of poked around. They had a video game room where it was like every video game console known to man in succession with a video game playing, so you could just sit down and start playing it if you want.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like you had Nintendo with Contra, and I was talking to the guy. I was like, Contra, I love this game, but I don't remember for the life of me how I beat it as a kid, because anytime I tried to play it as an adult,
we were better as kids, or we had more patience, because these days games you can play on different difficulty settings, and you find that games are designed to be longer.
Yeah.
So you end up getting your value for money from the length of the game as opposed to the difficulty of the game. Like if you played Contra and it wasn't so hard, you could probably beat it in a couple hours, right? Because you can't save to the cartridge back then. So games could only be at most an hour or two long. It's just you had to beat it by persistence.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but like, I just don't know how. Like Contra, they only gave you a certain amount of guys, like lives, and fucking like now I couldn't beat it with 100 guys.
Yep. Or it's like Sonic the Hedgehog, the original Sonic game.
Oh,
you got 3 lives the entire thing, and you could get more as you went through.
yeah.
But I tried playing the first 3 levels on something when it came back out again. You know, when you can get a hold of it on like Switch or something like some kind of virtual store. My God, I was terrible. Absolutely awful. I'm playing this, laughing away, thinking I used to be able to get to like the 3rd, 4th, 5th level with just gaining lives, like as a net. Like by the end of it, I'd have like 6, 7 lives by that point. And now I'm like, that would mean I could get to that point without getting hit at all.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
now I can't even get an extra life in the first level. Like it was absolutely insane.
Yeah, no. So I mean, it's something about that, and it was just cool. Then they had GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64, which was such a unbelievable way to waste your time back then. I loved that game.
The worst part about GoldenEye now is at the time I was fine with the controls.
Yeah,
I cannot grasp how I ever functioned with those controls at all.
I hate that controller. Period. Now,
I love the controller.
In the middle, it's so awkward. It's like I'm like, how do you play this?
Yeah, I love the controller because the way I look at it, you ignore, like if you're playing a D-pad game, you ignore the middle one. But if you're playing right, like you can just ignore them all, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. However, it's it was like you go forward with the analog stick, and you turn a corner with the analog stick as well, but you strafe using the C buttons. And I was like, this is just, I would rather go forward and back with the C buttons and aim with the analog stick. And I thought you could do that, but I might be wrong. I need to look back at the controls again, because trying to do that with a Switch controller is not easy, because they've got dual analog sticks, right? So
right, and it's like crazy because like I'll be looking up at the sky and like the camera will be just swirling around because like, I don't know where I'm going. I'm bumping into walls. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, I know. Like I remember we played GoldenEye.
I love GoldenEye.
So we must have been like, so the Nintendo 60, it probably would have been like when I was in like 17, 16, 17, 18, somewhere around that era. Someone had brought their Nintendo 64 into school, and we were in like sixth form, which is a bit more of a relaxed thing. You don't have classes all day. You kind of go in, you've got like a common room that you can go hang out in that the younger kids can't get to, etc. So they hooked their Nintendo up, and me and my friends were always the quieter kids. Like we would sit at the back and just watch it. So one day they were doing pass the controller around when you were playing like whatever game mode, and I somehow I convinced them to play License to Kill and Pistols, and I don't know how, but it came to my turn, and I went through the entire room, killing every single person, and it got to the point where like you're not allowed to use guns anymore because you've gone through all of us, and I'm like, that's fine. So I went through everyone again, just slapping them because like I was so used to the controls that it was second nature to me. And there was one guy who was like, it was in one of the multiplayer maps with a door that would open and close. And of course, being GoldenEye and it being on a TV, you could look and see where they were at, right? Like you knew where they were. So I kind of flicked down to a screen, saw where he was, and I knew that I could probably open the door and he wouldn't notice it. And he was, because I knew where he was, I was deliberately, and I knew where I was deliberately looking at a totally different angle. So I opened the door, turned around, and went in the room, crouched down as low as I could. I mean, which is only one crouch, and span around because he would have been looking at my screen, and it disorientated him enough that as I came around, I slapped him on the arm. And he died. He said, "What? Where were you?" And I said, "I was right next to you the entire time." Well, then my friend came on, who we always played GoldenEye with. And of course, I was in the I'm not allowed to use guns part of it because that was the rule that they had told me. So I'm playing someone that was as good as I am, and they had a gun. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to win this. So then it went through him, and he went all the way through everyone until it came back to me. So we were basically playing each other. Like it was, we were killing everyone just to the point where we would get back to playing each other. Because we would spend, like, he'd come into my house at 11 a.m. on like a Saturday and leave at 5, 6 o'clock, and all we would do was play GoldenEye. That's all we would do. And then eventually we ended up getting something different. So we played GoldenEye for 3 hours in the morning and then play something else. But it was always GoldenEye. We had Perfect Dark, and we ended up playing that a lot because you could play co-op. So after we were tired of killing each other, we go to Perfect Dark, play the same match, like the same maps, because most of the maps are the same. But we play on co-op and just play against the bots on the hardest setting again to try and just see how much better we were at that. But yeah, it was always License to Kill. There's always License to Kill with pistols, because pistols were slow enough that you wouldn't just run around spraying because you only had so many bullets. And we just found License to Kill pistols was the best way to go for it.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I wasn't that great at GoldenEye. I was okay.
I'd be terrible now, like absolutely terrible now.
I'd have been so aggravated getting killed by you all the time. But
honestly, we didn't realize how good we were until we played people that apparently played it a lot, but we wiped the floor with them, absolutely annihilated them. I think at one point we did a team deathmatch. It was us two versus like two people who thought they were really good. And I don't know if we did it by time or by kill count, but either way, if it was by kill count, we got to the top level of kills, and the only reason I died was because I got in the way of my friend shooting by accident.
Oh my god!
And it was to the point where he couldn't, like, I didn't realize he was having a gunfight across something, and I ran through and caught a bullet. Other than that, like, I think it was either we maxed out the kill count and they got one, or it got to the end of the time frame and they only got one kill on me. And even that was just like, at a certain point, kind of like the Maple Leafs, at a certain point, you're going to luck through the end of a series.
Yeah.
So,
but did the Maple Leafs? Yeah, the Maple Leafs won. right?
I know they actually won, and it baffles me that they actually made it to the end of a series. Like I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that that's not what the case is today or tonight with the Bruins because
I can't imagine. I feel like the Bruins have got
I can't imagine them going down the way they were up and bringing it to a game 7. But here we are.
Oh, it's fair, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. There's something wrong with the goalie. There's something wrong with Allmark. I don't know. Something is not right because they're just. It's like they flopped as soon as they got into game 2. They went into cruise mode, and then all of a sudden, Florida just started coming back. You know,
Yeah,
the
it's
other
like they
was
Florida.
over
The
5-5. I was so pissed, so pissed.
yeah, because it was overtime, wasn't it? That they that
Yeah, I
Kachuk.
was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
pissed. Yep. So hopefully that's not today. You don't go being breaking records team through the regular season and then get eliminated the first round. Like I don't want to fucking see that. I'll be so mad.
It not that it's going to make you feel any better, but it did happen to Tampa Bay,
Yeah, I know, but
right?
still, it's
In
God. But anyways, that aside, keeping on the video game thing,
I was
like
going to say,
you
what are we even talking about today? Because I
yeah,
feel like we've
we're
just
talking
gone
about
through
the game
everything.
right now. Yeah. You want to talk a very hard game? So I bought the Cowabunga collection for PS5.
Oh, that is
And
difficult, man.
it has everything. And you know, the arcade games, those are not hard at all. Those are easily beatable because again, you can just keep on hitting return or keep on hitting respawn
Yeah,
in the whole console. It just keeps on bringing you until you're just tired of playing it. This game called Tournament Fighters, however, fuck that game so hard. Like I haven't won one match yet. No, I have. I've won one match. I haven't won one round. I haven't progressed past one guy. Like, and it's you got like 8 planets you jump between, and it's basically just like a Street Fighter with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
yeah.
characters. Fuck that game, man. You fight clones of the turtles, and they're impossible. They just spam the shit out of you. You're dead. Like, who made this game? Like, why? It's
That is,
so.
it's crazy that, and you know damn well that when we were kids, we could have beaten that no problem.
When I was kids, I beat it. I know I beat it. I beat it once at least, and that's why I'm like, what the frig? How'd this occur? So mad, man.
It's
You know,
like we think of games like Elden Ring as being hard now, and I mean they are. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
Elden Ring is not an easy game, but in comparison to the games of yesteryear, like
Yeah.
this, you're like, oh, Elden Ring's not that hard. Nah, it's not. Elden Ring is not a hard game. It's just that it's the games we played were artificially a lot harder. And you get, like the Dark Souls series, that kind of thing, where it's a challenging but fair difficulty,
Yeah.
but it's also done with what are you doing? It's also done with like almost unlimited tries, so you're not limited to so many tries, so you can just keep going
Yeah.
and going and going until you figure it out.
Yeah. Well, this you can do the same, but it's like, after like 11 tries, I was like, no. I need
Yeah, I think I'm done.
I'm like, fuck this. I'm done. I'm done. So I'm like, I'm all set. So
Yeah.
yeah, that video game tangent started with there was a video game comic book on the wall.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I guess I should name. I've taken to naming the episodes as we're doing them
yeah, of course.
because
Come on,
it
try to
just makes
support.
more sense that way. We're
Yeah.
we're
Yes.
actually able to get the name in, and rather than me like wait a week and say, wait, what was that? What did we do on this episode again?
Exactly. So what I had you watch was the Flash trailer before we started this episode. And we're sorry for all the yawning, folks. We really are. It's like you said, it's early. You know us by now. We're real. We're a low budget. Keeping it real kind of podcast.
Low budget, dude. We use free software to record this and edit it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We yeah. So here we are. So I watched the Flash trailer, and I had you watch it.
Yes, I'm calling this flashing video games.
Okay, Flash video games. Okay. It's
I don't
simple.
know if that makes any sense to anyone at all.
I don't know. But so I absolutely adore this trailer. I think, man, I think the music, the score, the sequencing, everything about this screams huge movie to me. Like I'm beyond pumped. I want June 16th now. I want it right now. This will be the movie to beat for the year for me, I think.
I really hope it's as good as we want it to be, because
Have you read the reviews?
I haven't seen any reviews yet.
My God, the reviews couldn't be more positive.
Oh, good.
It's like Endgame mixed with Dark Knight as far as reviews go. It's insane. The reviews are so high. Even the negative reviews are positive reviews. They're just not as positive as all the other.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like no one has anything bad about this movie. They said it absolutely blows you away. It's not what you expected. And I can tell you that with the trailers and the teasers and everything got progressively better.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the best trailer so far.
Yeah, like I can't tell. I think I watched this trailer and couldn't actually tell you what the plot is beyond what we already know in terms of, like from the name of it, as a comic fan, from the name of it, well, Flashpoint means blah. So I'm going off of that. So
yeah, I mean, there's fan service to be sure in this movie, but
of course, yeah, there's
what I heard, it's mostly relegated to the third act, from what I heard.
That's fair.
So, and I just think, I got a couple thoughts on it. Like, God, what a shame in part of this whole thing, because Ezra Miller seems like he's going to do one hell of an acting job. I mean, well, they seem like they're going to do one hell of an acting job in this movie. I mean, they just seem unbelievably tuned and dialed in, where they weren't in Justice League, either incarnation. I mean, yeah, the Snyder Cut fleshed them out a little bit more, but no, fleshed him. Which
yeah, because they're playing Barry Allen. Yeah.
God, I hate this shit. But
but I mean, the thing is, right? Like it's we make mistakes, and we're trying to make sure we get the pronouns accurate. Correct. And we're still going to try and respect the pronouns still. But yeah, like I know it can be mental gymnastics when you're thinking about a non-binary actor playing a binary character.
Yeah,
like so that is.
Yeah, Barry, his arc in Justice League Snyder Cut was significantly better and more robust than, the Joss Whedon Justice League debacle.
100%.
This seems like it takes it to a massive level. Like, I mean, you get a little bit more of an idea where the other Barry is like, no one dies. Oh, you're like, all right, well, that's the villain twist right there. That's what's going to happen. Because Zod is certainly not the villain. And Michael Shannon is just the backdrop, and, it's going to be great.
Yeah, I like the fact that Zod is in it, that he's going to be a major threat.
Yeah.
But he is not going to be, I think, the major villain.
Yeah, and I'm also glad that it doesn't seem like they're just reusing Man of Steel footage. Sasha Calle added in. No, it's all new footage. Like, the premise is the same. Like, what if Zod fought Kara instead of Kal-El? But it's different angles, different footage. I mean, that scene where she takes that metal, like, big girder pipe type thing and just jams it into Zod's face with the mask. Oh, that looks great. Like, I actually, Sasha Calle sold me more on her character with this trailer. This trailer was her best showing so far, I think. And that scene where she's like, do you know what this means? Barry's like, means hope, right? With the symbol on her chest. Like, oh man, it looks great. And then whoever put this trailer together knew what they were doing with the movie.
Well, 100%.
for the Michael Keaton parts where he's like, you know,
Like,
I spent a whole
let's be
lifetime-
honest. There are so many of us going to watch Michael Keaton.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
But I am appreciating everything else around it at this
Mhm.
point. But and it's funny too because they say Ben Affleck's only in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, but the way this trailer is framed, you could see him in like a lot of the movie.
If he's only in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, then that
Yeah.
would mean that what you see in the trailer was, I would say, at least 80% from that chunk of time, because
Yeah.
so much of it seemed to flow into each other.
I know
And if
that's what I
if
think.
that's the case, I'm super happy about the fact that they've reduced the trailer times to the
Yeah.
early parts of the movie, because that was the thing they always used to do. And by they, I mean studios executives would always, like, I think the Star Wars trailers are almost always from the first 20 minutes of the movie, to avoid exactly what happened with BVS, right? Like, you don't want to blow the doomsday load that early.
It's just such a bad trailer. Like, it was a good trailer, but we're like, why the hell did you put that in your trailer? Like,
I mean,
what did you
it was well cut. I think the trailer itself was terrible because of what it did for the movie. I mean,
Yeah,
the movie definitely wasn't great anyway, but
We love
this
yes
did-
either way.
I love the extended version of it way more.
Yeah.
It is a significantly better movie, and I mean, in fairness, the extended versions of any movies often
Are
do elevate them significantly. Not always. I can't think of
Right.
an example right now, but for the most,
I
I
want
feel
to
like
say
the
if it's like
director's
Lord of the Rings extended, it probably doesn't elevate it. It probably just
Oh.
makes it damn long.
No, it does make it a bit better because you get a little bit more context into it.
Oh Jesus!
I was thinking like the butterfly effect. The director's cut doesn't
Okay,
seem
I
to
love
have.
that movie.
I love it, but I watched it, but the director's cut first, and the ending makes no sense. Because
Oh really?
I didn't realize that the actual ending was different. Like, I've hated on this movie for so long because of the director's cut. In the director's cut, he strangles himself in the womb. And I thought that's a brilliant ending right there. And then it cuts forward 20, 30 years and you see him walking down the street and he knows who she is. I'm like, no, if you killed yourself in the womb, you're not coming back.
Right.
Whereas I think the regular version, he doesn't kill himself in the womb. He does something so that they just don't come into contact with each other. Right. So that makes more sense. And then he sees her as he's walking down. He doesn't actually try and talk to her or anything. It's just he knows she's doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a significantly better
ending
outcome than the director's cut.
Yeah, strangling yourself in the womb. Like, how would you know her then? You're
Yeah,
dead.
exactly. Like, don't get me wrong, that was a decent ending up until the next part or the additional scene. I was like, oh man, like you done so well.
It was such a good movie. It's a very underrated movie.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's the best. It's one of the best. I mean, no one knows for sure, but it's one of the best time travel type movies because it explains to you,
cause and effect and everything, right?
Everything, the butterfly effect. And I just think that's great. And some of that movie is so fucking heartbreaking to watch. Ashton Kutcher did a phenomenal job.
I think that movie showcased how good of an actor he was.
Yeah, absolutely. I became such a big fan of his after that movie.
Because he got typecast as the dude where's my car type Michael Kelso character, and he's so much better than that.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, he's great in that role, the rom-com stuff. He's fantastic. But this was just like showing his chops, and you're like, wow.
Like, man, you could have done so much more if you were given the chance.
Yeah, you didn't expect it. And you're like, damn. No. I remember watching it in the theater with my buddy. Like, I went with a couple friends when it first came out. And, because we knew him as Michael Kelso. So, like, you didn't
So
know
you think it's going to be something like that, right?
Yeah, you thought, like, I mean, because if I remember the trailer a little bit, there was some humor in some of it. Yeah, it was dark, but there was some humor. And you're like, oh, all right, this is going to be, just kind of like cool, fun. No, this movie had people like, what the fuck? It was so goddamn dark. You're like,
Mhm.
holy shit.
Like, I did not expect this.
No, it was like one of the most raw movies I've ever seen. And I was
Yeah.
just like, damn. So yeah, it was good. Director's cuts. I didn't see that version of it. I might
You're
check it out.
not. Yeah, you're not missing much. Like, I wouldn't. It's
Yeah.
it's a shame because it's a great movie up until the final scene.
Yeah. And then what's it called? Yeah, because he writing in the journal is brilliant, like bringing his brain back and like, oh my God, such a brilliant concept to using
And then
men.
they're using their own rules within the movie to keep it consistent too, which is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple scenes that are very, very hard to watch. Like, I don't like any of the scenes with the dog and the sack.
Yeah, no, agreed.
It upsets
Agreed.
me deeply. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, I hope he fucking kills this kid. You
Yeah,
know what
that's
I mean?
just it. Like, there's definitely moments in it where you're like, no,
Yeah.
it's
I know what the director was going for, but I'm like, is there anything else that would have elicited that response? Like anything else other than a dog or a cat?
I don't know. Like, to that
That's the problem.
level, probably not. And I think that's why it works so well is that,
Yeah.
like, I don't even remember what the scene. I don't want to remember it, but like I can remember the feeling that I had from watching it, and I was like,
Oh
that's
no, the kid fucking Tommy had
yeah,
sack and lights it on fire.
yeah, right. Like, it's awful. It's absolutely awful, and like
It's
you
horrible.
don't like you watch it and you're like, why? Like, why do we have to?
Yeah. Yeah, and like then they have like the prep school scenes and things like that, and you're like, holy shit! Like it just was a great thing of how people are always intertwined, and you could change the road, but you're probably still going to get to somewhat of a similar destination, which is
Yep.
what that movie was describing.
Yeah,
However,
like at the end of the day, we are all the people that we are is who we are, and you'll change to a certain extent, but for the most part, it's going to
Yeah.
be yeah.
yeah, so that was brilliant. And then what else? Yeah, so that's a good movie. So basically that's this isn't too far of a tangent. We picked a movie that actually makes sense within the confines of Flashpoint if you think about it.
Do you know what? You're
Accidentally-
absolutely right.
We just made a movie reference that accidentally perfectly ties in with the movie The Flash, which is great. Only we could accidentally plan that one. But yeah.
If only.
So I love Flashpoint. It's a great story, but it's also a little over convoluted in the comic book because
I'm curious to see how they'll do it with the movie because it's got to be approached very differently.
yeah, and I think it's going to be better to be honest with you because
It probably will be.
the concept of Flashpoint is such a brilliant concept.
Mm-hmm.
Barry goes back in time to save his mother. Period.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to save their lost loved one? Like
Yep.
would I get the chance to go back in time to save my dad? Would I do it? Probably 99% sure I'd do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love the line where he's like, I went back to save my mom and I broke the universe. Like just on a grand scale of you're not supposed to fucking do this. And I love Ben Affleck telling him, Barry, the tragedies, the scars make us who we are. We're not designed to we're not supposed to go back and fix them. We're supposed to accept them. And there's a third trailer that has more footage that I didn't send you because it was more footage like spliced together. And it's like Ben Affleck telling Barry, he's like, but Bruce, I can go back and save my parents. I can go back and save your parents. And Ben Affleck's Bruce doesn't try that. He's like, no. And I like that dichotomy between Ben Affleck's Bruce and Michael Keaton's Bruce. Michael Keaton's Batman is obsessed with his parents, obviously, and wants to save his parents. And I love that line where he's like, I spent my whole life fighting crime as if it was somehow going to bring my parents back. But you actually did it. You know what I mean?
But he clearly has a respect that it worked. Whereas,
but also there's like an intrigue factor there too, where like maybe you'll see in the movie, maybe Michael Keaton wants to exploit it or something. Who knows?
right?
very broken compared to
Mhm.
Batman. His Bruce
Yeah.
is
And I
So-
think that's what's so interesting about it is that you can see that there's way more to this than meets the eye, and it's really fascinating to see how it's going to come about.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's such a good character study. Like, you know, it's a big philosophical question. What would you do? And you know, the question is, most of us would do the same thing. We'd be like, I want to go save my parents, or
Yeah.
I want to go save my wife. You know, I want to go save my kid that passed away suddenly. Like, you know, all the injustices, you want to fix them. But this shows you on a grand comic book cosmic scale on why you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I loved Flashpoint. But when you think of it, I think Flashpoint in the comic would have been so much better boiled down to Barry, Batman, and a couple other characters, where it was in the comic book, it was the you know, the Atlanteans and the Amazons. It was Cyborg.
It was so many. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like,
too much.
I think boiling it down is going to make it so much better.
I think so too. Now the only question is, like, will the villain factor be better? I have a hard time because that's one of the best parts of Flashpoint too, is Zoom, Ebert Thawne being the architect behind the whole thing. That I killed your mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's how Barry finds out. If I recall correctly, he finds out that Zoom killed his mom in Flashpoint because he never knew.
Yeah,
And
I think so.
sorry if you hear the birds outside. I had to let the dog out. But no, it's like, so that changed Barry and Zoom and everybody forever in DC because it added a new wrinkle. Now Zoom is this fucking heinously evil person who has been architecting, you know, the destruction and the torture of Barry's life for decades. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it just made it so good. I loved Thomas Wayne in it, but I'm really excited to see what they do with a Batman that isn't a psycho in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, because Thomas Wayne was a psycho
Yeah.
trying to take care of Bruce, and it made it cool because it was a total different situation where it's not Bruce trying to save his parents, it's his father carrying on because his son died in, you know, an accident, and it just broke Thomas Wayne, and it shows you, and then that's cool. But I'm way more interested in the Bruce and Barry dynamic of this movie because that was my favorite part of Flashpoint at the end, was Bruce and Barry with the letter.
Yep.
And the original
it was
Flashpoint in
brilliant.
the Batcave, like that scene, you know, a comic book can sometimes bring you to tears. Like, and that came close. Like Bruce reading the letter from Barry, being like, yeah, this is from your dad. And they kept it canon, even though it jumped into the New 52, that letter was always canon. And Bruce and Barry were the only ones who had the knowledge of the previous universe. And I always thought that was brilliant.
Which
They were
made
like-
so much sense given.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this movie so very much. And then let's just talk about the fan service. Fucking, I jumped when he was like, "You want to get nuts? All right, let's get nuts." I was like, "Ah, he said the thing."
Yeah. It was so like you watch it like yes.
He looks like he hasn't missed a step. I'm sorry. He looks great.
Oh, he does. He does. He absolutely does.
70 fucking years old. He looks amazing.
And like you know it's going to be very much he's not going to be as physical, which is fine. Or if that Batman is physical, it's not going to be Keaton doing it, which again,
no,
totally
not
fine.
much. But what I like is we're in a time frame where the technology has caught up to the point where you can cover the shortcomings. And like, oh my God, I mean, the animation, whatever the CGI is, looks so fluid in these trailers, like with Batman in the you know, with the gliding and all that shit, and the cape, that scene with the cape where he's stopping the bullets, like, damn, it just, the whole thing looks so fucking good. And like you said, that part of the trailer where he's like, "You're strapped to your parachutes. Where's yours?" And
he just goes like he doesn't even have like he doesn't even try and explain it. He just goes, and I think that's so much better.
And I love the symbolism too. Like, again, you have the Batwing up by the moon, like you did in the first movie when he jumps out of the, when he hits the eject button and he's flying down. Oh God, it just looks so good. I mean, obviously it's been leaked and things you can glean from the trailer now. You're not going to get Zoom. Would I have liked Zoom? That would have been fantastic. But I think for the context of the story, I think they got to tell that one of the Barrys has to be a villain. That's
because
what
I think that's what's going to happen. I think that makes sense because at that point, you already establish you've already got your good and your bad Barry, right? Like we already know the character, we know the motivation. Like clearly one Barry is like, look, we've got to undo this, and you're probably going to see Batman and Batman and Flash meets Batman and Flash is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, that could be what happens, right?
Because if Keaton is going for the I'll do anything to bring mine back, and Barry said we can save yours too, and then like quote our Barry is like we've got to undo it. Well, who is he going to get to help him do that after? Like, they're not going to reuse Kara because that then overpowers everything. Like maybe she wants to exist, right? But you're going to end up seeing. It's going to be another way of having like a superhero showdown where you got evil Flash and evil Batman versus good Flash and good Batman.
Yeah, because like the whole thing is like, I'm going to be really curious to see how it pans out as far as like, okay, like how many people fall in love with Sasha Calle's character of Kara?
Yeah,
that might happen, and then James Gunn might find himself in a situation where like people pull a Snyder cut on him and like, hey. We want her. We don't want blonde Supergirl of tomorrow. We want Michael Keaton's Batman. We don't want anyone else. Like, it could happen.
It could. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that this is what we're going to end up seeing.
I mean, I would love for it to be, we want Cavill back. That's the one. I mean, God.
Oh, I know.
I'm just so mad that they actually took out the parts that he filmed.
Yeah.
But they said James Gunn came in and scrubbed that.
I think though while it sucks, they do have to do it because if they leave him in, then people are like, he could come back, right? It's almost like once he's gone, let him walk away fully.
Right. So it's that, and then you've got, I don't know. I mean, the movie just opens up so much possibility, but like, I'm just going in to see it as a standalone.
Yeah.
Like a good swan song to my favorite Batman of all time on film. And like, I just want to go in and enjoy the holy hell out of it. And I heard there's some serious surprises that, haven't been leaked anywhere.
So I don't know who I was talking about this to. Somebody at work had asked me because I had a meeting with them at home. Well, they weren't at my house, but it was like a virtual meeting. And normally I'd only been in the office when I was talking to them. And obviously I come on camera and you've seen where I sit when I work.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what's behind me. Yeah. And folks, you've heard us talk about the toys and the collection behind me, and they had no idea I was a nerd. So I'm sat here where I don't even know. I think I was even wearing like some kind of nerd T-shirt because again, I'm at home. I don't care what I wear. Right. And she's like, wait. So what do you think's better, DC or Marvel? I'm like, I said, while I'm partial to Batman, like I've got to give the nod to Marvel for me.
Yeah, I would say.
And they're like, so like, do you like all of the movies? Like they said, like, I know some people really don't like them. And I said, the thing is for me is I will never go into a movie wanting to not enjoy it. Like, I'm not going to go to the theater, pay the money and think this is going to be so bad. I'm going to hate this so much, because you will find anything possible to not enjoy about that movie. Right. Like you and I have said numerous times, and I even said this, like when we review movies on the show, we are very aware that we have recency bias.
Of course.
A good part of that is because we wanted to enjoy the movie. Does that mean the movie is objectively terrible and we're giving rose-colored glasses to it? No.
But sometimes, it happens a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, we can definitely be wrong, and not wrong, but our opinions will definitely change. Where we'll watch it, we really enjoy it in the theater, and then maybe the second time we see it, like, that wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Definitely that happens.
but
That
I would
absolutely.
never not give the honest first impressions of a movie either, because like we'll watch it, we thoroughly enjoy it,
Yeah.
right? Like that doesn't mean the impression we gave in the review is wrong. It's just that, hey, we really enjoyed this movie. We really
Yeah, I
enjoyed
know. Like, I'll give you a really good example. When we were doing Gotham Weekly, and
it.
I went with my buddies and we saw Suicide Squad, the original, the David Ayer one.
Yeah, I
I
remember
came out of
this.
that movie and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Opening weekend, I was like, this was so great. Blah blah blah. Upon subsequent reviewings, I think I've seen the movie 4 times overall. Like between on TV and like in the background, like all that.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up at all. It doesn't even come close to the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
The Suicide Squad David Ayer one, yeah, other than Margot Robbie, is like, it's all right. Jared Leto really was bad as Joker in that movie.
I recall you
That movie was
saying, like,
terrible.
you were encouraging me to watch it, saying how good it was, and I finally did after hearing how terrible it was. And even from you,
Yeah.
you said it's not as good as I thought. And it's like I didn't dislike it, but I definitely would not have enjoyed it as much as you did.
No,
Definitely.
no,
wouldn't.
no, no. And like, I don't know. Again, I think sometimes it's just you're so excited to see something because it's either the first time or it's been so long since characters have been on screen that you're like, I can't wait. It definitely clouds your take on the movie. Whereas, yeah, it was just like, oh, okay, this wasn't as good as I sold it. Like, damn, it was good. Like Will Smith as Deadshot was good, but I'm like, he's really just playing Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Really just playing Will Smith in this movie. Where Margot Robbie is playing a total character.
Yeah.
Because she's so different in every movie she's in.
And like Idris Elba in the James
he's
Gunn
way
one.
better he's much better as a Deadshot than a Bloodsport, because a Bloodshot, because I don't even really know too much about Bloodshot.
Bloodsport was right.
Oh, Bloodsport, yeah.
Yeah, Bloodshot's the Valiant guy, the Vin Diesel played.
Yeah. That guy. So, Bloodsport's good, but they were too similar.
He was clearly meant to be a recasting of Bloodshot. Deadshot. God, yeah. Like, clearly meant to be a recasting of Deadshot, right? So.
Absolutely. So, yeah. But he was much better in the role than Will Smith would be in the role.
100, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
He's just a brilliant actor, by the way. He's a brilliant actor, one of my favorites.
Oh, Idris Elba is brilliant. Like, again, like Idris Elba is one of those actors who you don't see in a bad role. They may not be in the best movie, but what they do, you cannot ever fault them for it.
And when you mean they, you just mean them.
Like I'm thinking like Carl Urban.
Idris Elba. Carl Urban's treasure. Yeah.
And the reason I say this, I couldn't think of anyone other than it was the Carl Urban effect is what I was thinking of, because anything Carl Urban is in, like, Henry Cavill, he's been like The Witcher is not great, but he is good.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So it's that kind of thing where like there are always going to be actors in properties that are good, and unfortunately the show itself is shit. Probably like us sometimes. We're okay, but whatever we're talking about is terrible.
Yeah, but then we're just like trash.
We're like, whatever.
People listening, it's like them following the red dot along on the screen, trying to like the red bouncy dot. Like it's so confusing sometimes. I'm sure people are probably like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
And especially now that
driving in their car,
like especially now that we're I guess we probably should have led with this, but we're on Amazon Music now, and we're getting onto Spotify. Like we probably should have led with that in the show. So anyone listening to us in these new places, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
This is what you can expect.
I mean, Jesus, it must be maddening to like have us get something really good on topic, get in a groove, and then like, oh look, squirrel. These people in the cars must be like, what the fuck is this? You know?
Oh, jeez.
God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I almost said the Batman. Jesus, this is just that day. The Flash looks great. I'm very excited for it.
I think you calling it the Batman pretty much sums up what we are excited about for this movie.
What everyone's excited about in all reality.
Yeah,
there's so much Batman in the movie. Like, it's funny. The Bat logo is like the first thing, and then the Flash's logo is secondary. But no, I'm looking forward to this so much. It's definitely the movie I want to see. I'm also looking forward to Guardians 3. And they had that initial screening this week.
Yeah, May 6th, I think, is when it's coming out.
It's next Friday.
I still don't have a theater, so I've got no idea when I'm going to see it. But
yeah, people are saying best MCU since Endgame. That's the high consensus.
Yeah, I can see that, because God, if it's got the same, like, if, you know, having a consistent directing, telling a consistent story across everything, it's gonna make it easier to have, right, for that to be a thing. So
yeah, agreed. And it's just like one of those things where, because you're like, this is gonna be really, really good. This is gonna be really, really, really good, and like, I'm excited for it. I'm beyond excited for it. So, they said it's a great send off. It's a good swan song. There's a lot of surprises that I don't want spoiled. One that I thought was spoiled, and I was like, oh, okay, it's just a fan thing. I was very lucky because I clicked on something by accident, and it said Silver Surfer, and I was like, oh my God, I would have lost my shit if that happened in the movie. But it was just a fan speculation being like what they wanted to happen. I'm like, oh, now I want it. You know what I mean? Because you're like,
now I need this. But yeah, I know what you mean.
But you said Rocket is so good in the movie, and Peter Quill is great. It's Chris Pratt's best performance in the MCU, which I'm looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a really good movie. And we need a palate cleanser. Even like harsher critics like Grace Randolph is saying that this was the movie that sets Marvel back on track, thank God, because Marvel has dipped quite a bit with the MCU shows and the last couple movie outings.
I definitely think the MCU needs to refocus itself. I think that sorry, I just clicked on something and a video played in my headphones. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And then realized that it was background noise. I think that with what's happened with Star Trek, God, I'm not even going to cut that embarrassment out. What's happened with Star Wars? Jesus. So anyone new listening to us on Amazon Music is like, is this like, why didn't you edit your embarrassment? Because we don't.
Because we're raw. We're real.
Yeah, the things we edit are usually moments where like, oh God, I've got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And we're gone for it.
That a guest might have said.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think it's very rare that we'll cut anything out that we've said. It's only happened.
Yeah, we have no shame. We're not embarrassed. It's just like if our guest is embarrassed of something, we will absolutely.
We've said or they've said something that really can be taken out of context, because people can take shit out of context so easily. I think we've actually only cut something out of a show that you and I have done, like something significant beyond like silence.
Yeah.
Twice in 200 and odd episodes.
Which is pretty amazing.
Actually, no, I was going to say twice, but I realized one of the big things we cut out was with Marcus Arneso and Jason Muir, but it was something that you didn't want revealed.
Yeah, it was something I didn't want said, and we need to go back down that road.
Yeah,
but so.
And then there was like a couple of weeks ago, I think it was somewhat recently. You had like COVID.
COVID, and people listen to us obviously, and like, we got on Amazon Music, so it's like we're doing okay, but we this is the train wreck that is our show. If you want more polished shows, they're out there. They're way out there.
And if you can find so many of them.
Let your brain go off, then maybe you share our opinions, and maybe you're like, man, it's great to finally see a show that doesn't give the other bullshit and tells it how I think it. Like, because sometimes
Yeah.
that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So here
Oh
we
yeah,
are.
like
And
we
here.
we yeah. That's I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
You really
I've
struggling
oh
today.
this came from so my whole point that I was gonna make, and I promise this to be my final thought because we're tangenting real bad after having a semi on topic show.
Yeah, dude.
So the MCU, it's having its Star Wars moment where they had a couple of rough movies come out. Well,
And Mando came in and saved it.
exactly. So then you had some of the shows come in, and it kind of helped people refocus. Like they took a break away from what wasn't working. And I think the MCU is starting to do that because we haven't had a new MCU show since is it Ms. Marvel? Was that the last one?
No. You had She-Hulk, which was after Miss Marvel.
Right.
And you've got
I gave up on
Secret
She.
Invasion coming next.
Right. So but it's been a while since She-Hulk.
It's been a while, yeah. It's been about 3 months.
All right. So we have been getting MCU shows really frequently. So it's been a while since She-Hulk finished, and then with Secret Invasion coming out, they've given us a bit of a break after giving us show after show after show after show after show.
Yeah, Secret Invasion was
movie.
supposed to be like basically done. It was supposed to be already aired and done from March, but they pushed it out. I think what they did was it's just the way it worked out with She-Hulk. She-Hulk was the last thing, and you had Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special as well.
Yeah,
and it just worked out wonderfully. That it does perfectly, and you need to see Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special for a very pivotal plot point that going into this movie. Now you've seen it, right?
No, I haven't. I keep forgetting it's a thing.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what it is now so you know.
Oh, no, I'm going to assume it's either... Actually, no, don't tell me because I will watch it. I'm going to try and make a point to watch it before I see the movie. It's one of those things where because it's not a series and Guardians wasn't coming out, and I don't think we'd actually spoken about the holiday special because we'd pre-recorded a bunch of episodes around the holidays.
But it was the same thing where I was like, have you seen it? And you're like, no. And I'm like, you need to see it.
Yeah, and then we stopped talking about it, and then it fell off my radar. So I still haven't seen Andor either. There are people on me though.
I haven't seen Andor at all, not one episode, but I need to see that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Mando 3 either.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
So it's like I got a lot to do.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I think it's like
it's oversaturation. We touched upon this last episode or a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, oversaturation.
It's like you're talking to a guy who's got like 3 episodes of Cobra Kai left, like, and that came out in September.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you haven't finished that yet.
I love it. It's just like you said, there's oversaturation, and what happens to me personally is I go down a YouTube rabbit hole, day out, a YouTube rabbit hole where it's like Cultaholic Wrestling, or it's like toy review.
Or you don't want to put something on in the background while you work that you haven't seen. Yeah. Because then you end up watching that instead of working.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, damn it. All right, I'll catch it. But yeah, Andor, I need to see. What the hell is this? Peter Pan and Wendy? It's a new show for Disney?
Yeah, I think it's like a new live action Peter Pan movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Like I watched the 1950s Peter Pan not too long ago, and yeah. Pardon?
With Kathy Rigby?
No, it was the Disney one from like the 55. It is surprisingly problematic. A lot of the things in there, like I get it, this is a product of the time, but like it's you watch it like, man, this is this is something. So I'm interested to see the new one, and I think that it's going to be good to get like a new version of Peter Pan out that you don't have to have the like that culture like, hey, just be aware this is a product of its time sort of language in front of it. So
exactly. No, I want to definitely see it. So I'll check it out. There's just so much content. It's like we're not starved for content. It's just an amazing level of content we have.
And it's also like for us, it's the hockey playoffs, the NHL playoffs. So we're spending a lot of time watching that. Like, we've got
and then wrestling.
Yep.
Oh, so much wrestling.
So much. So
And I
on
could
that
have went
note,
off into another point.
I
Otherwise,
was going to say on that note, because I was waiting for you to start talking. We're gonna circle back to whatever we just said. Probably Burnout Wrestling next episode, or if you've listened to us before, you will know we probably forget in the time that we're gonna sit down and record again. So don't expect us to revisit that realistically. We'll sit down. Yeah, we'll sit down later this week. And like, what were we going to talk about? I don't know. All right, let's just hit record.
Yeah,
It's rare that we actually plan something out unless we have a guest on.
it's fly by the seat of our pants, and it's great.
Exactly. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm actually so final thought from me. I'm genuinely surprised we didn't have any animal interruption today. Like either from me or from you.
Briefly, Brady made an appearance, and then the birds in the background. While
that's right, yeah. But all right. So other than like the odd,
egregious, like really stopping the recording type of animal interruption. Oh yeah, and then you had the animal interruption 2 minutes in, where you had to go downstairs.
Yeah, but that would be cut out.
Okay, so there you go.
All right, so yeah, okay, we definitely had an animal interruption. And in fairness, at one point I was playing fetch with Sven when she kept coming in to drop her toy down, and she left her toy with me, and then she's ran off. So I don't know where she is right now.
You know how many times I do that with Brady in episode? Like he's right next to me right now. Like if I don't play or pet him, he'll start growling and barking. So like that's what I have to do.
Yeah,
keep the show on track.
It's crazy, eh? All right, folks, we've clearly started to circle the drain of losing our points, so we are gonna end it here. We appreciate you spending your Sunday with us, or whatever day it was. I almost had a new outro for us, and I've lost it, so we'll practice it again next week. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Brady says bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.